Hey everybody, Jordan here with Vistas Realty. I hope y'all are doing well, and I thank you very much for coming to my little course today about real estate investment. I'm sorry that I missed the live last week. I definitely need to take some time off for Halloween. It is my favorite holiday. So to get started, I thank you all again for coming, and again, real estate investment is the key to financial freedom in the United States of America. It has been a way for many, many people to grow and build their wealth here in this country and reach an early retirement if that's something that you're interested in. So I want to start off by saying that you do not need to be a landlord in order, in order to invest in real estate and gain equity from properties. What you can do is hire a rental management company, which Mike, I believe you used to do, to manage the property for you. And that completely takes away, your need to manage the property, to be there, to fix the toilets, to change the light bulbs, work on the maintenance, all of that stuff. You don't even have to meet the tenants because the company will vet it for you. So that's one of the best parts about investing in real estate, is that you do not have to be a landlord. And there are many, many, many types of real estate investment. You can have the physical investments yourself. There's also things called REITs, real estate investment trusts, which you can invest in online as if they were stocks and things like that. There's one famous investor named Grant Cardone who owns a syndicate program like this. And you can literally go on his website and invest, $1,000, $2,000, and know exactly what you're investing in and see what your return on investment is going to be. So that's just another way besides owning a brick and mortar. You can also invest in land and harvest all of the trees and things like that, the natural resources on the land. You can rent out that land to farmers, like a sharecropping situation. And when you do that, you just rent out little parcels of land to different farmers, and they pay you just like any other tenant would. So don't worry. There are many, many ways for you to be successful with this. Things to consider when you are buying and investing in real estate. Holding costs. This is something that Zillow kind of messed up with. They did not take into consideration the cost of holding on to a property that is not selling while you're renovating it. So holding cost, renovation costs are two huge factors that go into, hi mom, that go into investing in real estate. When you are doing a renovation on a property, you really need to add about 10 to 20% on top of the renovation. It's more than likely that you're going to go over what you think it's going to cost to get things done. Because when you're renovating a house and you're opening things up, you do end up finding other issues. Unless you're just doing something strictly cosmetic, which most flippers don't do, you're going to have to get permits, right? So that's going to take time, and that's going to eat into your holding costs, the amount of money that you're paying for the mortgage while you're waiting for all of the work to be done on the property in order to sell it or rent it out. Some other things to consider is the eviction moratorium. So let's talk about long-term rentals versus short-term rentals. So with the most recent eviction moratorium, it did end in September. People have not yet been evicted yet because the courts are so backed up right now. Again, holding cost. Very important. So as you are thinking about what kind of, if you do decide to be a landlord, or if you're going to buy a physical investment and put it under a rental management program, there are some pros and cons to being a short-term versus a long-term rental owner. A short-term rental, they surprisingly, I've heard, have way less wear and tear. I think a big part of that is having somebody come in at least once a week to clean it and check it. Your folks that come in and rent there, they're going to let you know if something's wrong immediately, because they're not going to be happy about staying at a place if the hot tub's broken, if there's, let's say the locks aren't working, if the plumbing's clogged, they're going to let you know. And on the same token, your long-term renters, if you get great long-term renters in, That is awesome, but very rare. So when you're thinking along those lines, you really, really need to vet your people appropriately, and make sure that they don't, you got to do a background check, you have to do a credit check with them, you have to call their references to make sure that these are folks that you want living in your property, because they are more likely to destroy what you have than a short-term renter is. They're more likely to just let a problem go rather than call you and tell you about it. I heard a story from an investor actually up the road from me, and his tenant called and said, "Hey, yeah, the faucet's leaking or the shower's leaking in my bathroom. It's not a big deal though, it's fine." So he said, "Okay, well, I'm going to come and take a look at it." So he showed up at the property and he knocked on the door. Nobody answered. He told her he was coming. So no answer. He waited a few minutes, called her, no answer. So then he's like concerned, right, that there's something wrong. So he knocks and says, "Hey, I'm coming in." So he walks in the door and he hears the shower running. And he's like, "Oh no, she must be in the shower." And as he gets, closer, she calls him and says, "Hey, I'm not there right now." "Oh, okay, well that's weird where your shower's running." And he walks in there and the leak is literally the shower will not turn off. Okay? So that's like a really, really big thing, a leak versus the shower is completely broken and I'm running up your water bill are two totally different things. So keeping, or taking those things into account, short-term versus long-term rental, what's your poison? What do you want to deal with? Constant turnover and the question whether or not somebody's going to be there, or eviction moratoriums, not being able to take people out of your property that are destroying it, and those that don't really understand what it takes to care and maintain a home. So along those lines, I'll tell you my story, how I started in real estate investing, because anybody can start real estate investing. I started by buying a primary residence and doing what's called house hacking. I rented out every single room in that house to people that I knew. And then I didn't have a mortgage. And then suddenly I was making more money than what my mortgage was. Because I think the mortgage was maybe $800 a month. And I was charging $500 for 2 rooms. And then I also had a bonus room that I only charged $400 for because it didn't have a closet in it. So for a whole summer, renting out those rooms, my mortgage was done and paid for. It was very, very nice. But also, if you are not a homeowner, there's a little hack. As long as you can sublet your property and you have the agreement with your landlord and you talk to them and it's okay, you can do that same kind of thing in a house. If you rent out a house for, let's say, $2,000 a month, it's a 3 or 4 bedroom, you can rent out those individual bedrooms to not only help you with the cost of the rent, but at a premium, as long as it's okay with your landlord, of course. And I've also heard of people going as far and doing this on Airbnb. They rent out a condo, an apartment, something like that, and they put it on Airbnb, and the landlord's totally okay with it. Why not? You don't even have to own real estate in order to invest in real estate. Sometimes, you help enough people get what they want, you get what you want to. I think Zig Ziglar said that. One caveat that's very, very important is to know what your zoning laws are in the area where you are looking to invest in real estate. Buncombe County, for example, in the city limits of Asheville, you are not allowed to do short-term rentals unless you live in the home and it's your primary residence. So you can rent out a room in your home, your basement, anything like that, but you cannot rent out a standalone building as a short-term rental. Highlands just banned all short-term rentals within a certain radius of their downtown area. So it's very, very, very important to know what you can and cannot do in the areas where you are looking to invest in real estate. And those are just some of the basics that I have for you guys today. I didn't want to get too deep into it because real estate investing can get very, very complicated once we start looking at numbers and areas and specifics of things and specific, like the Burr method. Mike, I know you're familiar with that. Everything can get pretty complicated pretty quickly. So I just wanted to make this little short video to kind of go over some basics and introduce us, later on to some heavier topics. I do intend to have some investors on to talk with us about their methods and what they have done to build wealth and success with real estate. So does anybody have any questions right now? No? All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and tune in. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.